Welcome back, everybody. I'm Lupe,
I'm Khalil.
and this is Particular Thing.
Yeah, yeah, yes, sir, yes, sir.
First and foremost, we want to say big thank you to everybody, just to show our appreciation to everyone that's been with us on this journey. It's been fun the past few weeks. Uh, you know, Giving this an opportunity to try, and we appreciate everybody that's rocking with us. We thank you for every like, subscribe, and sharing, comments too, every sort of feedback that comes through. We really do appreciate that. That only helps us a little more to try to polish our technique and skills on here, but also to give back to you guys, and um, just wanted also let you guys know that although we are bringing the jokes and laughs, that's one of our big things we love to do. You know that's
It,
what makes our life go around. We love being able to spread positivity. But in that, though, we figured that it's probably time that we do get into something a little more serious, and more so a opportunity to kind of dive in a little more deeper, um, into progressions in life, experiences through our experiences, and perhaps to find out what about yours. So it's kind of like we talked about. I said it's a where you at kind of deal.
where you at?
Yeah, like a where you at kind of ordeal. Where so like just kind of checking in, tapping in with about us, you, um, whether if it's you're going through something personal, uh, mental, emotional, spiritual. This is our corner here that we're trying to be there for y'all as much as we're there for each other. Um, and so with that, this is a where you at type of segment.
This is a particular thing, and this particular thing is where you at. So, with that being said, Lupe, where you at?
It's a good question. It's a very open door question, I should say though. Um, at this point in time, I'd say I'm figuring it out. It's kind of what I'd be telling people a lot. If you haven't seen somebody in a while, they'll ask me, hey, how you been? Surviving. That's
Hey,
that's my answer. And it's true because on a daily basis, I'm trying to survive all the obstacles that are surrounding me, whether they're little to most or bigger to most. Um, but one of the big things that I've been going through lately is this progression, yeah, from switching jobs. I went from being a operations manager at a company for almost. So I was in the position for about 2 to 3 years, but collectively altogether, my tenure at the company was about 10. Um,
but
I,
that's a minute. That's a minute.
I yeah, and for those that have seen me, I'll go ahead and say it. Yes, I'm 34, but
Me
you,
too. Me
yeah,
too.
happy belated
Hey.
birthday, happy belated birthday. Um, but yeah, that company aged me very well. You would think it was life, but it's not so much life. I keep life pretty, easy going, but yeah, the job definitely aged me pretty well. But so going through my progressions of from job to another job, the in between definitely, I would say it definitely took a toll on me a little bit, though. Of course, you have your grace period to try to like relax. You're like, oh, finally, I'm out of work now. I can relax a little bit though, but that relaxing only lasts for a little bit
Yeah.
because then you still have to worry about the responsibilities, you know, car notes, uh,
Rent,
bills,
all that good
rent,
stuff. Yeah.
everything starts to add up, and they add up fast. Um, so for me, yeah, I went through. I wouldn't necessarily say depression, but I definitely went through a lot of question marks. I'm trying to figure out, how am I going to get this taken care of? How am I going to do this and that? And so
So with that, um, with you going through your transition, bro, what would you say was, and well, not since you were going through, with you, I guess, still kind of going through the transition, right? What would you say is the hardest part of that transition? Like, what is that for you?
so I think the hardest part is um, trying to remain patient. Um, you know, going through interviews, trying to get that call back, that email back, waiting to know when you're gonna start, how soon you're gonna start, because as the money's gone, you need that money to come back fast. When you had that type of income just coming, you had everything handled. Everything was good. Now that I wasn't having that income, I was worried because I'm like, how am I gonna take care of this, and how soon am I gonna get back on a certain schedule, routine, payroll, to try to get that sorted out. So trying to remain patient was, I will say, very difficult to do. Um,
Understandable. I mean, in my own situation, I can understand that. The patience is hard when the money starts to disappear. The anxiety goes up a little bit.
and it's this is being real because I'm only one person explaining or talking about it though, but I'm sure there's somebody else that feels the same way. Just not knowing when that income is gonna come, and the consequences that happen when you fall short of your responsibilities being taken care of. So going through that was definitely a lot of worrisome, a lot of weight, a lot of pressure, and just started to kind of like come through. Um, Fortunately enough, though, I was out of work for about a month or so, about a month and a half. I found something, but I mean, I don't mean to like go in circles on this though. So back to my old job, real quick though, just a little. Uh, I was stressed. I was stressed every day at work. Everybody could see it. Everybody could get the look on my face that that I was just not me.
It was whooping his ass.
Yeah.
It was whooping his ass. I remember the one day that I came into your office.
Yeah.
You remember that one day I came into your office?
Yeah, because I even tried to get you to see if you wanted to come on board, but at
Yeah.
the same time, I'm like, I don't even know if I want to do this to you, man, because I know you were looking for work and I was trying to
Yeah.
help you out, but at the same time, I'm like, if I'm not happy, I wouldn't want to bring him in where he's not going to be happy either. I don't want to bring him in that type of situation. I know you'd help,
Yeah.
you'd be a good help for me, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't know, I wouldn't want that for you.
Yeah, no, it was. I remember because yeah, it was in my transition period when I had left my situation, and I walked in there and I saw the type of stuff that came your way. Uh, in that little time that I was sitting in there.
Yeah, just for you to get a little perspective to see what you saw and heard.
Yeah, just like that. I got a message to some people, and it might sound a little insensitive, but some grown men just got to grow up a little bit more, and I don't mean that like in a disrespectful way, but sometimes in life we deal with things. You got to take it on the chin, and you got to keep moving. If you get so focused on what other people are doing, you're not gonna be able to progress anywhere. Um, and that was one of the things that I witnessed, and when I left your office, I was like, yeah, there's certain things I can see why this man is like, I gotta get out of here.
Yeah, I mean, the with the position and everything that I had, like, I did at one point enjoy what I was doing. I felt so proud of what I was able to do, and that kind of goes back to me, like, you know, I'm always striving and challenging myself to do better. And so when things were starting to fall short, I mean, they fell short and they felt pretty bad. I got down pretty bad on myself though. But it took me a while to finally break loose of that chain. And I was like, although yes, I was getting a good amount of money, I will say that I was doing fairly decent, but at the same time, I was weighing it out to where, is the money worth my sanity?
Dude, and that's the $1 million question that I've asked myself that many times. But then also, I think people are asking themselves that every day.
Mm-hmm.
When you're in kind of a dead end job type of situation or toxic environment, even though you might be making a great wage, it's like, bro, is this really worth it? Is this worth disrupting my peace?
Yeah.
Is this worth my sanity?
Yeah.
Like, it's and that is where I saw you, and from some of our conversations that we had on our drive homes and stuff like that. Um, I got that from you for sure. I felt the energy of like, man, I
It-
gotta go.
yeah, no, it was really I mean, it really took a toll on me because, you know, everybody who knows me knows that, like, I am pretty like a happy-go-lucky type of person. I have, a strong. I try to carry a strong positivity out there for everyone. I have welcoming aura, if you will, So I felt all of that was deteriorating day by day as I was continuing at work, and it just got to a point where I hit a standstill where I had that difficult, decision to make where it's like, yes, it does help take care of my responsibilities. And that is always something that, outweighs or that weighs into that decision that if I leave, how am I going to be able to take care of this responsibility?
100%.
But at the same time, I'm like, I'm killing myself to make this happen. And I'm like, there's got to be a better way. So I took a chance and I bet on me that I'm going to find something better. And so that's where the line of being patient, that space in between before the next opportunity comes along, it was tough. It was really tough. Now I'm in a situation, I have the job doesn't pay as great as where I was at before, but the opportunities are definitely there. I love the schedule that I have. It's very flexible and I'm not stressed.
There you go.
I get to continue to be me the whole way and I get to take care of still my responsibilities, So I'm very thankful. I'm blessed. And I kept praying, that was the one big thing is that I pray that, that eventually it'll happen. But I have to stay focused and determined that if I put in the work, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
I can't just sit there and let it just fall over. But at the same time, I wanted to um, show an example that uh, all things are possible. With God on in your corner, though. As
Man, you making me smile, bro. You making me smile.
But
I love that.
that's kind of like what I went through, the type of progressions and the worries, the stress, the weight of it all, to try to keep everything balanced and still trying to keep up with my persona, my character, because that's who I am and what I represent, but it was tough times, and though everyone's like, probably you could say it's only a month or a month and a half, it's a struggle still.
No, hey, dude,
It
that's
definitely
a
is
month
still
and a half.
it's still a struggle, you know. But yeah, and I'm feeling better about it though. I'm not even thinking twice about my decision. I don't regret where I was. I'm very fortunate of my situation that I was in.
you were there because that's where you needed to be, bro.
At that
That's the
point in
thing.
time, yeah.
That's where, because you spent 10 years there, right?
Mm-hmm.
You spent 10 years there. So in that 10 years, dude, you learned a lot. In that 10 years, you really learned who you are. Like you grew a lot. Like the one thing you left out of that story is that you had moved down to Texas and still worked for that same
While I
company.
was still there, yeah.
Yeah. So it's not like you just sat in one place the whole time. No, you were down in Texas for a year.
Yeah.
So even that journey.
Shout out Landon. If you watching this stuff, Landon, you my boy.
But in that journey, that was the journey that you needed to be in, bro. You landed in Texas, within that same company. Um, you found a couple things in Texas. You found yourself a little bit more in Texas. Then you came back, and into the same company. And thank God you were able to transfer there back and here again.
Yeah.
And you know, so I would say that was a blessing for sure.
Yeah.
And like I think through everything, being able to find the silver lining and something to be happy and grateful for within your journey. So I will say within your 10 years of being in that situation, and the ending is that thing that we always remember.
Yeah.
Right, and that's the part that sticks with us the most is the ending.
Mm-hmm.
But in that middle, in that time there, what's like one thing that you say that you really learned while you were there?
So what I learned, I would say, I first and foremost, even though I shouted out Landon, I would like to say that I've met a lot of amazing people during my time there, though. Through my first stint here in Virginia, back in going to Texas, and then coming back to the same one in Virginia, I've met a lot of amazing people. Heard a lot of different stories. The one thing I learned throughout that is how to communicate better with everybody individual. And then when I got to the role of being a manager, knowing what's expected of me, but kind of seeing it in their perspective of like, how would I respond to Mina? Trying to be in their shoes and trying to see, okay, how am I going to get the best out of them? Or how are they going to get the best out of me? So that was a lot of back and forth trying to figure that out, though. And I, with everything I had, I put my best foot forward, and I kept trying and trying. And I really love the friendships and bonds that I developed over time. I mean, if I could run down the list of names, we'd have to like get you a whole new phone, bro.
Yeah, but
it's gonna run out of memory. But
you got friends for life out of that.
Oh yeah, for
situation.
sure. And that was the beautiful thing about it, is that everyone had a story.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I loved about it. Getting to know everyone, is everyone has a story, but somehow our journeys and paths crossed at that point in time. And so with that time, I always wanted to get the best out of it from everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And granted, everyone had a day, but it was also learning and knowing, when to approach that person and when not to. You have to give them that respect. And that's what helped me out in life, to kind of realize that, yes, although I'm this very outspoken and outgoing type of person, I have to give that other person that respect.
Mm-hmm.
To know that, okay, if I reach out and they don't really respond, properly, okay, well, I know to leave that person alone for now.
Yeah.
Until they come around.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna go and press and keep bothering them, though, because they don't want to be that. You don't want to keep ruffling feathers with people.
In the words of Mel Robbins, let them.
Yeah. And I don't feel no type of way about it, though. That was the other thing, never to take it personal. So yeah, I would say, I mean, I went through an incredible journey with the job I had. Very fortunate to where I'm at now, and all I can say is the possibilities are looking pretty good. So again, the best thing I could do is put my best foot forward and see what happens.
Hey, and that's it. And And I just want to end this with, hey, this is Khalil. You got Lupe here. This is that particular thing, and this was Lupe's version of "Where You At."
Yes, sir.
Thank y'all for listening.